Tatum drives down and throws it down! Wow!
As the third overall pick for the Boston Celtics in the 2017 NBA Draft, Jayson Tatum has quickly become a bona fide all-star for one of the most storied franchises in NBA history. In a very short period of time, Tatum has led the Celtics to multiple postseason appearances and bumped his scoring averages while remaining as effective as he's always been. But did you know he is the grandson of an NBA coach? Or that his family's house was tragically burned down when he was just 2 years old? Join us now as we take a look at 10 things you did not know about Jayson Tatum. Number 1. He had no clue he would be drafted by Boston. Even though the Celtics had made it abundantly clear they were not interested in drafting neither Markelle Fultz nor Lonzo Ball, Jayson Tatum claimed to be very surprised when the Boston Celtics selected him with the third overall draft pick in 2017. "I had no clue I was going to the Celtics until they called my name," said Tatum in the post-draft media availability. In the prior weeks, there were rumors that after Tatum had his pre-draft workout in Boston, the Celtics front office was dead set on drafting him. So were the 76ers on Fultz and the LA Lakers on Lonzo, which is why the Celtics swapped their first overall pick for the Sixers' third, got Tatum plus extra compensations. The deal has certainly paid off for Boston. Number 2. His father was also a professional basketball player. Being a pro baller was already in Tatum's blood since the day he was born. While not at the level that his son would eventually play at, Jayson Tatum was also a successful college and pro player. He played college hoops for 3 seasons at St. Louis University from 1998 to 2001 before going undrafted. He then went overseas to play in the Netherlands for a club named LUE'S, averaging 16 points and 12 rebounds in his stint there. He then returned to the US and became head coach for Solden International Studies High School, where Jayson took part in his father's practices. And even though he was a bit hard on him growing up, Jayson thanks him because that's made him the man and player he is today. Number 3. He is TYRONN Lue's cousin. The basketball connections do not stop there, as Tatum is cousin of former NBA player and current Lakers assistant coach Tyronn Lue, who also won an NBA championship with LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers a year before Tatum was drafted. Lue and Tatum faced each other in the 2018 playoffs, when Tatum's Celtics pushed the Cavs to a 7-game series that Cleveland ultimately won. Tatum was just a rookie back then, but he made a name for himself for his stellar play and for posterizing James in a play that went viral all over the internet. Number 4. Tatum is a spokesman for IMO'S Pizza. IMO'S Pizza is a St. Louis-based chain of pizza restaurants, and growing up in St. Louis, being a representative for their brand should be a dream come true for Tatum. Before the draft, Tatum called IMO'S Pizza the best pizza on earth, and joined fellow hometowner and MLB veteran David Freese as IMO'S Pizza spokesperson. Tatum's favorite order is a pizza with pepperoni, bacon, and green pepper, but the chain is best known for their St. Louis-style pizza, which features Provel cheese with a low melting point and a gooey texture. So if you're Jayson Tatum, you can always have free pizza. Number 5. He got his son while he was a rookie. Jayson was scared to death when the time came for him to tell his mother he was having a baby. Raising him mostly by herself due to his father being away and busy with basketball, Tatum knew his mother's struggles as a teen mother. He quickly realized he would have to follow in his mother's footsteps when he was informed about the arrival of his first son in mid-2017. And while Tatum would be able to provide his son a much better life due to his high projections in the NBA draft, he was still nervous. Jayson Christopher Tatum Jr. was born in December of that year, and the relationship between Tatum and his mother, Brandy Cole, got even stronger with the arrival of a new baby boy in the family. Number 6. Tatum is the only Celtics player to ever win the NBA's Skill Challenge. When looking at past NBA Skill Challenge winners, you quickly realize Tatum surrounded himself with elite company when he won the contest in 2019. Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Derrick Rose, Steph Curry, and Damian Lillard are some of the most iconic winners in the competition's history, and Tatum's win did not come without some controversy. After trailing fellow 2019 finalist Trae Young for pretty much all of the contest, he launched a half-court heave in an attempt to beat Young for the last shot in the contest. Tatum made it, much to the surprise of everybody in attendance, and became the only Celtic ever to win the Skills Challenge. Making a shot like that takes skills and some luck, but Tatum deserves the win nonetheless. Number 7. His house was burned down in the year 2000. With Tatum's father away for long periods of time, Jayson was raised by a single mother for most of his early childhood. It was a struggle for Brandi Cole, but she fought hard to give Tatum the best life she could give him. She passed up a volleyball scholarship at the University of Tennessee after she learned of her pregnancy, and from there it was an upward battle as Brandi multitasked as mother and student. But perhaps her toughest test came in 2000, when she was forced to rebuild her whole life, as well as her son's, after their house in Lafayette Square was victim of an electrical fire. Brandi had to pick up multiple jobs and side gigs to pay for bills and have Tatum fed and cared for. Fortunately, she was able to overcome the tragedy, and those adversities only made her relationship with Tatum stronger. Number 8. Tatum is the godson of a former NBA star. There is another NBA relative in Tatum's family, and that's Larry Hughes. A 6'5" guard out St. Louis, Hughes had a successful 14-year career in which he played for 8 different teams. His best run came in 2005, when he averaged 22 points and 2.9 steals for the Washington Wizards, before leaving in free agency and signing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was a part of the 07 Cavs team that made it to the NBA Finals, led by LeBron James, and Hughes' productivity started declining some years after before calling it a career in 2012. Hughes is Tatum's uncle and godfather, and it's fair to say young Jayson had a lot of basketball talent in his family to look up to in his early years playing. Number 9. His still isn't followed by LeBron James on Twitter. Back in 2012, Tatum was just 14 years old and a bright basketball prospect, but there was only one thing he wanted: getting a follow back from LeBron James on Twitter. At this time, James was still in pursuit of his first NBA championship and most probably had no clue of who Tatum was. That didn't stop the future Celtic from tweeting to James, "Follow back, it's Larry Hughes' nephew from St. Louis, and Abe and RJ little cousin and Justin's son. Follow back," and added a picture of his child self posing with a younger LeBron. His connections were not enough to secure a follow back from the king, and to this day, Tatum still isn't one of the 190 accounts James follows on Twitter. Number 10. He carries a Lion King lunchbox to his games. While there are still plenty of adults that enjoy Disney trips and reconnecting with their childhood, you certainly would not expect an NBA player to carry a Disney movie lunchbox to his games. That doesn't seem to matter much to Tatum, who has been spotted carrying a Lion King lunchbox around the NBA bubble. When asked by a reporter why he does it, he answered, "Deuce loves lions and loves Lion King, and I always carry my food to the game, so it's just a little something for when he sees the picture he sees that daddy has a Lion King lunchbox." With players forced to be away from their families, it's great to see Tatum still carries a piece of his son with himself. Those were 10 things you didn't know about Jayson Tatum. What was the most surprising fact you learned about him today? Make sure to comment down below. And as always, please leave a like and subscribe.